Hi everyone, this is Diana Palm, the Love Witch. What do you do when what once saved you now feels like it's killing you? Earlier in your life, you may have found things to make you feel better when you're going through hard times, and it may have been your saving grace. This could have been something that was positive, like sports, reading, achieving a goal, hanging out with your friends, or shopping. But sometimes these things that once saved you can actually become repetitive patterns, addictions, and they can take over your life where they're not just filling the void, but they've actually become a void in themselves, where they've actually become imbalanced, and it's begun to create problems within your personal life or in your relationships. If you filled the void with shopping, maybe it's become an addictive behavior where you're now in debt and you have overspent on purchasing things to make you feel better. Maybe you've used sports to avoid your family and friends or interpersonal connection, or even pursuing your dreams. Sometimes people have pursued their dreams to such an effect that they have canceled out or restricted other areas of their life, not leaving enough room for personal growth or development or the warmth of human interaction. Sometimes hanging out with friends and having a drink or two can lead to toxic behavior, alcohol addiction, or experiencing one toxic relationship after the next. So while some of these things may have started off as a healthy behavior to kind of fill that void and make you feel better at a certain time in your life, they may have actually become part of the problem. And here's why. The real issue was never addressed. The real issue lies within your heart and soul. The real issue is unhealed fulfillment, unhealed emotions, conflict, loss, struggle, feeling incomplete, feeling the need to fill the void with something from the external world. Now, when we go inward and we really look at ourselves, we can actually find and resolve many of our own problems. We can look at why we feel incomplete. We can look at why we feel that we're not good enough. And we can actually work on those issues to heal them within ourselves rather than filling the void with external things. Sometimes these external things, they preoccupy us and they carry us through a difficult time in our life. But it's equally important to look at if this has caused imbalance in your life. If this external thing that you went to at one time was a positive for you, if it has become a negative for you. And that's simply because your life has gotten imbalanced. It has not created enough space for you to do the inner work and fill that void with your own self-worth and self-value and self-love in order to show up more complete in all the things that you do. When a person shows up really complete and emotionally self-confident, they can embark on many different activities without them becoming lopsided in their life. When you fill the void with those external things, that's when you're really just covering up and filling the void, but it doesn't last. And it's a danger to you because that is where it can become imbalanced. But recognizing that early allows you to create more space around it, allows you to be more open-minded, and provides for you the time and space necessary for you to look inward and really get to the core of why were you feeling not worthy? Why were you feeling empty? Why were you feeling the void in the first place? When people get to this point in their life, it's a huge transformational shift for them because they realize that things have been imbalanced and they realize that they are truly the only one that can bring balance back into their life. They can make room for loving relationships. They can make room for joyful friendships. They can make room for all the activities that they love and still pursue their dreams without having to shut down any specific area in their life in order to try to feel better on the inside. Now, a lot of people don't know where to start in the process. I would say to just feel the void within you instead of feeling that urgency to act, the urgency to fill it with something external. Many times people show up in love this way by trying to fill the void within themselves with a new partner instead of actually feeling the void and healing the void. You gotta feel it to heal it. You have to sometimes be willing to go to the depths of despair, to feel your grief, to feel a loss, in order to have the insight and the time to reflect upon what something meant to you, or how you showed up in that situation. And this is not a finger pointing game. This is not about blaming anyone else or even blaming yourself for that matter. It's just having the recognition that this has occurred and maybe what your motive was in doing so. Once you find that, you can have more understanding and compassion for yourself and learn to shift that energy of feeling void within you into fullness and fulfillment, where you can then move forward making better, more balanced decisions for yourself. When somebody's trying to fill the void, they will show up very needy in a relationship. They will sometimes love bomb you or express so much love and attention, showering you with all of these emotions in hopes of getting showered back, because that's what they desperately are looking for, to fill the void. It's much more emotionally confident to be able to say to somebody, I love you, period. Not, I love you, how much do you love me back? Because that shows you that you're really saying it and putting your love out there to boomerang the love back to you. Instead of starting here with yourself, building your emotional self-confidence, building the self-love you have for yourself, showing up in your life strong, confident, and knowing who you are and what you bring to situations. So if you can say, I love you, period, and still feel good without having to hear it back, that indicates that you're pretty well balanced in the self-love scale, and that you do know who you are, and that you do know you can stand by your love without having to hold back your love for fear of rejection or it not being reciprocated. Saying I love you, period, simply states, I know who I am, I know who you are, and I love you. Isn't that a beautiful thing? If somebody can say that to you, then you know they're not manipulating you to get energy back or to get an obligation back or to coerce you to give them what they should be seeking for themselves within themselves. To say, I love you, so you will love me, this is not even about the other person. This is solely about you and how you're showing up for yourself in the world. Oftentimes people will become consumed with events or people outside of themselves when they're really actually afraid of commitment. They're afraid to commit to themselves, commit to love, or commit to a relationship. So they begin filling that void and that space around them with all kinds of external events or other people. The fear of commitment really equals fear of rejection. And when somebody's living in that energy of fear of rejection, they never truly commit to what their heart desires because they don't feel worthy and deserving of actually having what they love. This can even create more and more of a void within themselves because it pushes a person out of alignment with themselves. It makes them make excuses or finger point or avoid things or simply find lots and lots and lots of other activities, events, or people to fill that void. So I'm asking you today, if you feel that void and if you unintentionally filled it with people, places, or things that are external to you, it's time for you to relieve the burden. It's time for you to empty out that space within you and really look at that wound, really look at that void that you've been trying to cover up for so long, and really sit in that energy for a moment. Recognize where it came from, how many things you've piled in there over the years, and be willing to raise your love vibration, because that's the only way to truly fill that void permanently so that you can move forward with new patterning and new cycles of love in your life. I kind of picture the void like this, and we're just dumping all this stuff right into that void like an empty vessel. But when you begin to fill with self-love, it raises and raises just as if you were pouring water into a cup until it gets full. And when it is full, it's no longer a void, it's a full overflowing cup. It expands where you can share it with others. You can share your gifts with the world. You can show up in relationship full and abundant in love. And that is the best energy to be in relationship with, especially when you find somebody really special that you want to share your life with. You don't want to be restricted. You don't want to be void. You want to be full so that you can really share the energy of love, joy, and abundance within your relationship. If you've ever felt that you went to something external to fill the void within you, and where that one thing that maybe saved you at a certain point in your life has now begun to feel like it's killing you, let me know that down in the comments below. And let me know what kind of awareness you received today from watching this video. How are you going to bring in more self-love to fill the cup within you rather than filling the void? If you would like some help with this, be sure to set up a private session with me at www.dianapalm.com, where I help you reconstruct that energy within yourself, clearing subconscious patterns, old painful storylines, and really bring in new feelings for you to really be able to express yourself more authentically and really show up for yourself in life, knowing that you're worthy and deserving of love because you're giving it to yourself. That's the first thing that people look for before they decide to love you. If you like this video, be sure to give me a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I can't wait to see you in the next video.